I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
SportsTownChicago.com. Lombard, part of the Be On Air network and available on the TuneIn app.
Hell yeah.
Broadcast home for your Windy City Bulls and the Chicago Dogs. We're in a league of our own. Now, here's your SportsTownChicago.com scoreboard update.
At 12:35, I'm Charlie Carty with your SportsTownChicago.com update powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com. Ben Johnson was introduced yesterday as the 19th Bears head coach. His first duty will to be to fill out the rest of his coaching staff. Bulls look to turn it around tonight at 9 against the Warriors. The Bulls recently snapped the 5-game losing streak by beating the Clippers Monday 112-99. Lightning look to break their 3-game road skid. They'll be hosted by the Blackhawks March 11th. NFL MVP finalists have been announced. The list is made of Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Lamar Jackson. The winner will be announced at NFL Honors on February 6th. Warriors star Draymond Green apologized via his podcast for punching 14 incident took place more than 2 years ago. This has been your SportsTownChicago.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com.
Full Court Press with your host, Charlie Carty. Jonathan Young. Jermaine Nixon. We keep the pressure on people in the world of sports all day, every day.
Mission is to win and to win now. I get goosebumps right now just thinking about being the head coach of the Chicago Bears. I know exactly what this role and this responsibility requires, and I cannot wait to get to work.
How you doing, folks? It's your host, Charlie Carty here. We're going to be diving deep. First segment on new hires. We'll let Jamin take it away. So,
well, how you doing, everybody?
Woke up today. Not much more I can complain about.
All right, man. We got a jam-packed show here today. I'm gonna start off, like what Charlie said, with the new hires going on, because although we just got Ben Johnson a couple days ago and printing paper, the Lions are like giving up scraps right now because the Lions the Lions gave up their defensive coordinator to the Jets. And I don't know how you guys are feeling about it, just because because I don't know. I'm just seeing a lot of these Lions staff and staffers like leaving or just heading out to new ventures because defensive coordinator is heading for a head coach job, which I'm low key. That's really, really impressive.
He used to actually play for the Jets back in the day, so it was kind of like they kind of had hoped he would be good enough to take over that spot. And with how Detroit played this year, with Aiden Hutchinson going down early and a lot of those injuries on that defense, for them to still be able to finish with a top 10 defense, a lot of teams took notice. So I'm happy for Mr. Glenn.
Yeah, I love the signing of Aaron Glenn, or the hiring of Aaron Glenn. You know what I mean? Obviously, a former player again. He was a cornerback, shut down. So he's been in those situations before, obviously, as a player. So it definitely helps to get him in that headspace. You know what I mean? He knows the player's mentality. He's been there.
And I feel like just having the player experience, because I didn't know he's a player at first. That's news to me. But I feel like having a player experience can also help in a long term, being like, okay, like you said, he's been there, done that, and understands what he obviously really more. And I think that works off the sport in general, just like to have a former player. Like you see it when, and like to me, my most notable would be like Steve Kerr. How Steve Kerr was once a prime shooter with the Bulls and just overall great player, then turns out to be the Warriors head coach, wins like 4 championships and turns into a dynasty. So I feel like having a player turned coach could work out in the long run. Also, it could backfire. But for me, when I've seen a lot of these players are saying it's a good trade or it was a good hire. So I'm hoping the best for the Jets.
Yeah. He was my dream candidate as a Saints fan. He was the guy I wanted most. He also used to play for New Orleans, but yeah, I saw an interview with him, and he said the amount of times players would come to him and say, "Man, I've never really actually sat down and talked with a coach about things outside of football or outside of the game. Just how you doing, man?" He said that was crazy to him, and that was something that was super important to him, was the trust and the players being able to tell him exactly what they wanted and what they would change. You know what I mean? And to be able to get that from your head coach, it just goes to show, you know, nobody on the roster is going to be unheard. No voice is going to be too quiet. And it sounds like it's going to be a great situation there, and the Jets really need it.
So picking up on the Lions, Jared Goff was just he was asked about like the acquisitions on both sides because obviously Jared Goff of the Lions lost their offensive coordinator to us, the Bulls. Oh, excuse me, not to us, but not the Bulls, the Bears. They lost the offensive coordinator to the Bears, Ben Johnson. They also now, you know, Aaron Glenn to the Jets. He was just asked that he said there's literally nothing they could do but to pick yourself up and move on, just to play, get back to work. And honestly, that's a great way to look at things, especially when you're losing 2 crucial pieces of your offense and defense. So, but both of them turning into head coaches for other teams. I feel like it's not a win-win situation, but I feel like the Lions might turn into a Bears.
Well, I don't think the Lions are going to turn into the Bears because of Ben Campbell. Campbell is a very smart head coach, and even though he lost two good coordinators to head coaching jobs, that just shows how good of a job he has done. But in losing those 2 coordinators, he made them follow, or had another understudy follow around Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson in anticipation that something like this would happen, so that if they did move on, it wouldn't be such a drastic shock to the system, because they have people in place that know how to implement what Ben Johnson was doing and what Aaron Glenn was doing. you look at the Bears, and with Eberflus, I really don't think that he had that problem, trying to have somebody understudy, and it just goes to show why Detroit won't be where the Bears is because they have a good head coach who is smart enough to say, hey, I got a couple of offense coordinator or defense coordinator, maybe even his wide receiver coach, whatever the case may be. These coaches are going to be elevated. And when they are elevated, we don't want to be just sitting there, looking around. We want to be able to fill that role with someone who has the understanding already of what we've been doing. So I really like the way they're doing it.
Charlie, you got anything input on that one?
Yeah, I mean, definitely kind of like John was saying. I mean, it's definitely a testament to the coach if you're going out and you're getting two of your coordinators hired both to head coaching jobs. I mean, to get them both promoted in this league, there's only 32 head coaching jobs available, and he made two guys now peers. You know what I mean? So it's definitely shows what great of a job Dan Campbell's doing over there, and how I really don't think it's gonna matter. He's gonna obviously have to replace both those guys, but it'll probably be in house. Antoine Randall L will probably go to offensive coordinator or something. It'll probably stay in house though, and I mean we'll see if Campbell can do it again, really turn his guys into head coaches.
But I want to point this out too. That's kind of impressive that you kind of pointing it out that you guys said it, that he's turning coordinators into head coaches.
Yeah,
which to me,
both of them.
Yeah, to me, like if I was coach right then and there, I'd feel like a sense of proud if they were like that, if the relationship was like that. But I don't know. I'm not in the locker room, so I can't really tell. But I'd take that as a compliment, turning coordinators, offensive, defensive, into head coaches. So honestly, I'd say that's a win-win. If the Lions themselves aren't really, stressed about it, and they're just saying in interviews, "Oh, we just got to work harder," just not ignore it, but work around it. I see no issue about it. As a fan, I'd feel stressed out. There's no real offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, but if the player does, I wouldn't be stressed. I'd be happy about it.
I'm interested to see. We're talking about NFL head coach hires. I want to see who's going to take out. Lost out on Ben Johnson because
I saw that they're looking for him.
Yeah,
I saw that
they lost out on Ben. So I wonder if they're going to go. Take our second choice, which would have been Mike McCarthy or
I don't know. Prime time, man.
You think
him and Brady been in cahoots?
You think so?
Draft Shedeur? Oh yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. We just saw, not to go off topic here, but LeBron and Bronny, we might be in an age where, Shedeur has never played for another coach other than Deion Sanders. Going back to what is it called? Pop Warner.
What is Oakland's draft pick? Do you know?
They're like,
I don't know,
because if they're top 10, there's a chance they could actually get him, because Shedeur is going maybe even top 5.
Oh yeah,
so if they got a top 5, man, maybe you're right, man. I personally don't see Deion going anywhere except Dallas. If he becomes a head coach, I think that him and Jimmy John, what's his name? Not Jimmy John's.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. Jimmy Jones. I'm hungry, man. Jimmy Jones. I think that his connection with Jones, it was really good, and not a lot of ex-players have a good connection with that guy.
Yeah.
Man, it's been very difficult to get along with him. So just the fact that Deion and him have that good connection, I can see it being Dallas. Now, Dallas, the problem with them is that they ain't got no good draft pick. They're not going to get Shedeur. They got Dak.
Yeah, I just looked. The Raiders have the sixth pick, so they could definitely still get him, but they might have to move up because Giants need one. Yeah, the Titans need one. So And
6 though, that's not bad, man. They can still. That's a good one, man. I like that. Shador or set Deion to
I think it's
Oakland.
it's way more likely than everyone thinks. And I think I don't think it matters as much the specific team, whether it's in Dallas, Cleveland, or the Raiders. I just think it's going to happen. I think he's going to coach his boy, and I think he's going to take Shiloh in the 7th or something. You know what I mean? But I just think, I don't know. I think it's going to happen. It's too good to not. Too good a story to not.
Would that be like?
It's based on nothing, but.
Would that be the first like father-son duo? Not duo, but he'd be coaching. But
in the NFL, yeah, I'm sure it would be, man. It has. I'm 99% sure that was the first father-son, drafting. Let me draft my son because.
Yeah, especially he's a quarterback. Like,
it would be the first, but that's a good story, man. But the Jags, they still got they head coaching position open still. You got Trevor Lawrence, who's it's like, what's going on with him? Why isn't he able to get to the next level?
I know.
Is it coaching? And if I'm the Jags, when's the last time the Jags hired a high profile coach?
Urban Meyer, or
him, and he came from college.
Doug Peterson. I don't know.
Right. That's my point. Is that these teams that continuously stay at the bottom until you get a good head coach in place, they're going to stay, because situations like this with Detroit, where they once again lost all their coordinators, but once again were able to pick up where they left off because they saw this coming, decided, hey, let's do this way instead of that way. The Jags ain't never had no competent head coach that I remember. Urban Meyer was that wasn't that the Illinois head coach?
No, Urban Meyer was at Ohio State.
Ohio State,
Florida.
okay.
He was Florida with like Tim Tebow and Kim Newton and
Okay,
Aaron Hernandez.
So he did have a nice little history.
But as a coach there, I mean, I think he caught a lawsuit for something, but he was just a terrible coach. No, like during the off season, he was at a bar or something, but allegedly.
Okay.
The Jags. Excuse me. I don't know. I'm just reading that the Jags. Yeah, like you said, the Jags are still. Oh, I gotcha. So we're going from new hires to established players with the new. Or I see he had this in Feb. But I'm here to let you guys know, but we'll be right back. We'll come back to that.
This is your home for sports. SportsChicago.com.
Joe's Hot Dogs around 1953, but I proud. Italian beef, hot dogs, shakes, and sides. My family's had a relationship with Joe's Hot Dogs for 3 generations. Golden fries with a tad bit of salt and the perfect amount of crunch come in a bag as big as your hand. And that's just small. For more on the menu, visit joeshotdogsjoliet.com. Bringing that classic Chicago flavor to the suburbs. That's Joe's Hot Dogs across from CVS on Plainfield Road in Joliet.
At the football game, Jim shows the telltale signs of being wasted. He starts flexing the camera. He refers to his muscles as gunboats. He screams, "How's it for a halftime show?" Jim streaks the field.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many to drive. But what if you had just one too many to drive? Never underestimate just a few. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and Windy City News Radio.
The Illinois Center for Broadcasting is now the Illinois Media School. We've been an institution in the Chicagoland area now for 30 years. Because the broadcasting world is always changing, so are we. Not only are we teaching radio and television production, but now you can learn all aspects of the media industry, like web design. You can even specialize in TV or film, sports broadcasting, and even sales. No matter where you are in the Chicagoland area, we have a campus near you. The Illinois Media School. Be on TV, be on it.com.
Money. Tell me that wasn't money.
Yo, check us out. We are the go-to guys. I'm your boy Space.
I'm your boy MC.
Check us out every Thursday
from 4 to 5 p.m.
We spitting all facts, all sports, all day.
Yes, sir. Who else you gonna go to in the clutch?
Lillard launches the
Keeping you up to date with all the latest sports news.
We are
the go-to guys.
Where else you gonna get all your sports news from?
You know,
SportsTownChicago.com.
St. Patrick's Day, the only day of the year that it's okay to not boo the Boston Celtics.
I will show you mercy.
SportsTownChicago.com.
To go with Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson.
The way he's elevated this team, I'll go ahead and throw my hand up. I thought they were going to be in a rebuild. There were games where Josh essentially has put this team on his back.
All right, welcome back to the show, Full Court Press. I'm John Mead with Charlie and Jonathan. And I'm here, so we're going to be talking about the MVP race. Just happened, but how close it was and not how close it was, but just the MVP race in general. How do you guys feel about it? Because we have 5 names up there. Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, and Joe Burrow. Out of those names, what's the standouts? Who's the standouts?
You know, I was so disappointed, man, by the outcome of the Bills and the Texans, the Ravens game, because Lamar Jackson, to me, hands down, was the MVP. And it was disappointing because everybody always say he can't get over the hump. Everybody always say he chokes in the playoffs. And my rebuttal has always been like, it's just been Lamar. How do you expect him to do 16, 17 games in the regular season playing Batman and then go to the playoffs and play Superman? Like, it's just too much to ask. They got help here to prove those naysayers wrong. And it was going against Josh Allen. So I was, man, this gonna be the game. He gonna show everybody, and sure enough, man, King Henry did what he was supposed to do. Outside of that fumble where Lamar trying to do too much, put the ball on the ground, literally placed the ball on the ground, and that interception, I mean, that's what really hurt them was the turnovers. A lot of people say it was the Shane Andrews drop in the end zone, but it's too hard to just put it all on one drop. You know, it's too hard to just say, "Oh, if she caught that pass." When, like I said, if I put the ball on the ground and intercept touchdown, so I wanted it to be Lamar. But with that outcome, I'm going with the Bills quarterback, man.
Oh, Josh Allen.
Gotta go with Josh Allen, man.
I'm gonna put that on there because I think the same situation that happened with, like you said, not same situation, but like the same circumstances was happening with Lamar Jackson. Also happened to Joe Burrow. Great, like you said, this team wasn't really working around, so that's why they have a really high draft pick this year. But man, yeah, it kind of sucks when you see someone playing so well, and then they're just kind of, I would say it's a bottleneck, I say, where just one person's overperforming and then the rest are just kind of holding it back. But not, I would say that it's just unfortunate. Like to me, when you see, not see wasted talent, but just you're not helping succeed. It's MVP, but Mark, feel Also, Josh Allen did make the team a little bit better. The team is on a little win streak right now. Not right now, but just they did really good this season. So I'm gonna go for I'm making a case for Josh Allen though.
Yeah. So I mean, luckily the NFL MVP is a regular season award. So anything that happens in the playoffs, anything after that, doesn't matter. And the stats I'm looking at right here tell me that Lamar was the best player in the league, way better than Josh Allen. He had 41 touchdowns to Josh Allen's 28, threw 4 picks to Josh Allen's 6, was sacked more. So, I mean, less offensive line. He's got more pay for 4-1 to Josh's 30. Threw a better completion percentage, 66% to 63%. So I say all that to say, pretty much every stat other than rushing touchdowns and attempts, Lamar had Josh Allen beat by. And Josh Allen got him in the playoffs, but it's a regular season award. I still think it's going to go to Lamar, rightfully so. He had the best regular season out of any quarterback this year. Joe Burrow would be my number 2, but that's a question for another day. But I'm going Lamar. My vote would be to Lamar 100%.
And I'll say this one more time. It's just unfortunate circumstances at this point. But when it comes to things like this, I do feel for the runner-ups and stuff because. You worked yourself off, right? You're working on all this. Oh, now I'll say overtime. You're working in day out, and you just. I was this close. I was this close to the MVP voting, not voting, but just in the race. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just. If it could just by like looks and who I would choose to have as MVP, I'd actually have Lamar Jackson, but just team wise, it's obviously Josh Allen.
I will say, man, I did like your take on the Saquon Barkley, and the reason I do like that is because the running back has been viewed as a replacement position for the last 5-6 years, meaning teams don't re-sign their running backs. You could have a great running back and it's time to re-up with them and they just don't re-sign them. They let them go. Yep. And they do not value the running back in the NFL right now. And Saquon, King Henry, some of these other guys who have gone on to different teams, and those teams watching these players, they're missing them.
Yeah. I mean, literally both those teams you named, Saquon, Derrick Henry, the Titans hold the number 1 pick this year, and the Giants hold the number 3 pick. Both those teams who let their star running back go just fell off the map.
Yeah, so maybe that alone says, hey, you need a running back. And the best running back, hands down, there's a debate. There's a debate on who is the best quarterback.
Yeah.
But there was no debate. There was no arguing, no question mark as to who the best running back was. It was Saquon Barkley. Hurdled him. Backwards hurdle. Come on, man. Come on. Stop
video
playing.
Game stuff.
Stop playing. Yeah. So I actually do like the Saquon Barkley MVP because not a lot of people give that position the publicity that it deserves, but him doing what he did, King Henry doing what, even Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. You know what I mean? All these running backs who other teams just said, we'll just sign a free agent, or we'll just get draft someone in the 3rd or 4th round to replace our stud running back. They regret it now, know. So I do very much like Saquon for MVP. He won't get it. He won't get it. But if he did, I would not be upset if he did get it.
Especially winning in a world like in a league filled with with quarterbacks, like primarily focused on quarterbacks. Really, really special, I say.
Yeah, definitely is like a quarterback-driven award. I mean, who's the last quarterback to not win MVP? Or the last MVP to not be a quarterback? It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Like Rodgers got 2, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar has a couple, but
It
like
would have to
in
be
the
a
last-
running back. It would. You would think.
I know LT got one. A kicker from Washington got one in 1981.
That's got to be a crazy season. that's got to be crazy. A kicker, actually, MVP? I did not know
last
that.
receiver. It's got to be a receiver who's the last won it. But yeah, I mean, anyways, it's been a quarterback-driven award. Now, as far as offensive player of the year, I would go ahead and write down Saquon's name for that. Like, is it Adrian Peterson?
Oh,
it was Adrian Peterson when he came back from his injury. That's a good.
What was that, like 08?
Wow.
2012.
2012. Oof, I was kind of off.
it sure enough, I click on it. It says 2012 Adrian Peterson. Yep, that's who it was, Mr. Adrian Peterson, 2012. He had 2,097 rushing yards that year.
Broke it against the Packers. I remember watching that game. Like 296 in a game that year. It was a record.
In a game?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Saquon's probably this year was the most yards anyone's gotten since then, probably.
Lawrence Taylor was the last defensive player to win MVP in 1986.
Oof. I would have guessed 84, but
I feel like because they definitely have their own defensive award, even though the offense has their own offensive player of the year.
It's called most valuable player, so it should be the best player in the league.
But
you know what I mean?
The problem is that defensive players don't get the notoriety as, say, a
TV
quarterback
time,
or a running back or even a wide receiver. You know, unless you're just like breaking the sack record. You know, or breaking the tackle record, or interception record. It have to be something extreme to get noticed in the MVP candidates talking about a defensive player. You got to do something outrageous. So Lawrence Taylor was arguably one of the best, if not the best, defensive players of all time. To hear that he's the last one to win it, I'm not shocked.
But it's been 40 years.
He was like, we need some refreshment. Look, but I feel like say Saquon Barkley doesn't win MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, he has to get it. Because finalists for that one are Barkley, Burrow, Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson. So the whole MVP race. No, yeah, but you have to give it to for Offensive Player. At least, if you're not going to give him MVP.
Well, nobody came close to breaking any records on defense. I mean, it would have been nice if Aiden Hutchinson didn't get hurt. He was really having a good season for Detroit.
Yeah, I think Trey Hendrickson led with sacks, and it was only like 17 and a half this year.
Yeah, and so if nobody even came close to 20, 25, like nobody's going to give anyone any of those votes. DBs, I haven't. It's so hard nowadays for a defense back to get any kind of pub because you're not going to get publicity because quarterbacks fear defensive backs. They won't throw it at that defensive back. So, I mean, the best publicity you get as a defensive back nowadays is just to have no interceptions.
Yeah,
because the other team isn't going to throw it at you.
Revis Island.
Exactly. So, well, I don't think we'll be seeing a DB get it anytime soon. Maybe a hard-hitting safety that blitzes a lot, plays in the box, gets some forced fumbles.
Yeah, you'd have to get a lot of sacks and picks and a lot of turnovers.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about what John said. Just like it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in this day and age unless someone's breaking a sack record or just it's not going to happen. I'd hope different, but to me, it's just I don't know. Just the way the league's set up. Just it's not even just the league. It's just football in general. Just prioritizing quarterbacks is just. I wouldn't say it's unfair. but it's kind of just leaving this out of this segment of today's show. We're gonna talk right when we get back. We're gonna talk about the drama that is surrounding the NBA. And that would be NBA drama, but it's kind of general. But I mean, that's John, that's Charlie.
Scoreboard. Back to your home for sports. SportsTownChicago.com. Scoreboard update.
At 1:11, I'm Jonathan Young with your SportsTownChicago.com update powered by Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to BeyondAir.com. Ben Johnson was introduced yesterday as the Bears' new head coach, stating this is where he wanted to be the whole time. Ben Johnson says he welcomes the challenge of the NFC Central, and this should be an interesting offseason. Thomas Brown and wide receiver coach Chris Beatty have been released and will not be reading for the Bears' new coaching staff. Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, and Lamar Jackson among AP NFL MVP finalists. The Bulls beat the Clippers in LA on Monday. Levine led the Bulls with 35 points to help Chicago snap a 5-game losing streak, 112-99. Norman Powell led the Clippers as Kawhi Leonard and Ivica Zubac sat this game out. The Bulls visit Golden State tonight at 9. Catch it on Chicago Sports Net. The Cubs missed out on Tanner Scott, but are still actively looking for bullpen help. The Blackhawks get back in action tomorrow at 7 as they welcome the Lightning to Chicago. The Blackhawks' new top line of Connor Bedard, Tyler Barutsu, and Frank Nazar has been better, so this should be a good one. Tune in to ESPN Plus to catch the game. This has been your update to by Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to BeyondAir.com.
Sports. Red left. SportsTownChicago.com.
Take that exit and get to the Southern Cafe, home of the Nasty Biscuit on Roselle Road in Roselle. Get over there and try the chicken fried chicken biscuit made with the Southern Cafe's house-made drop biscuit with buttermilk chicken fried chicken smothered in country gravy, topped with shredded cheddar and crumbled hickory smoked bacon. I always say that when you go to the Southern Cafe, you come out with 2 meals with the heaping amounts of food they serve you in every meal. I love to go to a place with outdoor seating. The Southern Cafe has a great outdoor seating area to help social distance, and I get to enjoy my breakfast outdoors. Open 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. to give you plenty of time to grab an amazing breakfast or lunch. Now get your butt over to the Southern Cafe on Roselle Road.
Hello?
It's speed walking day.
Dorothy? You're breaking up.
Did I mention we'd be slowing down when we pass the court where those fine brothers play ball?
I heard that.
Reduce your risk of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. Get active, eat right, and maybe even run into Mr. Right. Isn't sisterhood beautiful? For more information, go to everydaychoices.org. Brought to you by the American Cancer Society, the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association, the Ad Council, and this station.
Alert! Alert! Be gone, maxed out credit cards, overdue loans, suffocating interest rates, and relentless collection agencies. If your credit rating is making you and others around you cringe, there's only one thing to do, and that's to turn to the professionals at Creative Credit Solutions. Even if your credit is less than perfect, we'll help you get back on track. You can do it, and we can help. Call today or visit creativecreditsolutions.net for your free credit check report.
Blow the whistle on SportsTownChicago.com. Mondays and Fridays from 2 to 3 p.m. as we talk NFL.
The game plan was really sound.
It's a quarterback league. It has been. It still is.
Franchise-defining quarterbacks.
College football.
Will Jim Harbaugh make it through the season as Michigan's head coach?
Some more Big Ten talk.
And here's some things you wouldn't expect.
I would have never expected that.
Get all of that and more on Blow the Whistle on SportsTownChicago.com.
Jimmy Butler, if you are watching, you are not helping yourself. You're not helping yourself. Mark Andrews and the Baltimore Ravens is a different animal. But there's no question that even though it's understandable, it's unprofessional. This is an extra level on top of a game suspension, although you might have thought it was not justified. The fact of the matter is that was the decision that the organization has made. You're looking for your bag. There was a 2-year, $113 million extension you didn't get. You're hoping to get at least that from somebody else. How are you going to get that if this is your reputation going out the door?
All right. That was just Stephen A. Smith giving his thoughts on the whole Jimmy Butler situation. And to me, I don't. Well, before I get my thoughts into it, it's just a wild ride for the Heat star when he's obviously looking to be set out of the team he's on the Miami Heat, but he's doing a lot of antics. From one being forcibly asking for a trade, kind of demanding a trade. Then now he's being suspended out of retaliation from Pat Riley. But now, since he's missed a team flight, he's suspended for another 2. Before I put mine out, I'm gonna ask y'all how y'all feel about the situation. Is it justified, or is it just kind of just he's throwing around antics around just to get out basically?
Jimmy has been known to act like this every once in a while. He did it in Minnesota. He did it in Chicago. Jimmy is the type of player where if he believes in what he's doing is right, can't nobody change his mind. And if he believes he's being mistreated and that the organization, for whatever reason, does not feel like there's a future with him on the team, he acts out like this. This is like third, fourth time he's done it. So unfortunately, he's a great player. You know, he's always a hard worker, but you can see it. Like, okay, they showed his shots in the last game before he got suspended. He had 10 points and he had like 5 shots. And the graphic said that he passed 85% of the times he touched the ball. So just the fact that, I mean, Jimmy Butler's a guy who attacked. The effort's gone.
Yeah, that's
he's
his
not
whole
trying.
offensive game is to get to those spots and attack. And like in the finals series where we saw him take on the Lakers in the bubble, and then the one against the Nuggets, it's just he needs the rock and needs to be attacking.
This might be a little overhyping him, but the way I see him play is kind of like Michael Jordan. This might be a hot take. This might be. I apologize if it is, but if you see the way how he kind of demands the ball and kind of works it, and the way he spots and shoots it, it's very Jordan-esque. He's not flying across the court, but I see it like that. And so I did appreciate how he went from on the Bulls, went from most improved player, then going on to Minnesota, and then also working around them. And he proves it with his skill on the floor. But to go around acting erratically, and although he may think this way or find his play style being good, be justified, to be professional and not the right call.
Yeah. Drastically is that Jimmy has great work ethic. He always has. Obviously, he went from being a low draft pick to being the most improved player. I remember when Tibbs was on his butt, Derrick Rose had just emerged. And we were all saying, man, this team could compete if we just had a 2-guard that was averaging 20 points a game. Right after Derrick got hurt, what happened? Jimmy Butler emerged as that 2-guard. that he was on the team, but he wasn't developed yet. He was already on the team, but he wasn't developed yet. After Derek got hurt was when he fully developed into a 20-point scorer. So he worked his way into that. Not only did he do that, he didn't take the first payday. He bet on himself that year and had a great season, paid the next season. Now, when he got paid that next season is when I feel that aura of I'm better than everybody else came over him.
Yeah.
And that's been his biggest problem. Mike was the greatest player on the planet. But you never really felt that aura from Mike. Mike would never sit there and be like, I need my own dressing room. Mike dressed and showered with everybody else. You see what I'm saying? No matter how great Mike was, he did not feel like he needed to be put on a pedestal. And I feel like Jimmy, because he feels like on so many of his teams he's been on, he's been the best, he has to be put on that pedestal.
And I won't say unfortunately, but just I will give him credit taking the Miami Heat to 2 finals and 3 Eastern Conference finals. That's impressive in itself. But like you said, it's not really justified to be on. I demand this. To me, although I'm not a professional basketball player, I'm just going to give my 2 cents or whatever it's worth. It's really not professional and really kind of makes you look arrogant, very, very arrogant. And especially, like, let's say, like, I just probably assume Pat Riley was just had enough of it, and just because Pat Riley is really demanding in itself too. So we have 2 alpha dogs going at it. One wants one thing, but hey, I'm not gonna give you this trade requested because you're kind of acting this way. So you're like when Pat Riley was had LeBron on the team, he was very strict with them, and all players are. So there's no leniency with Pat either. So I also kind of expected this, but I didn't expect this to blow up this bad. And then Spoelstra, the head coach of the Heat, Eric Spoelstra, he ended up giving out a little word out, just telling the Heat fans, and he just giving out over the suspension just to get over it, because he's most likely or not he's going to be playing right before the trade deadline. So, but other than that, I don't know if he's actually going to get traded by the deadline. We have yet to see. Charlie, how are you feeling about the situation?
I got a question. I mean, could Jimmy Butler be right? I mean, I don't know exactly what his demands are, but if you look at those, the Lakers series and the Nuggets series, he's by far was willing that team to get there. On the Bulls, maybe he hasn't been the best player, or wasn't the best player because he wasn't developed yet. But on the Timberwolves with Cat and Andrew Wiggins, he was their leader. On the Sixers with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, he was the leader. In Miami, he's obviously been the leader. Wherever he goes next, I don't know. But he has, wherever he's been that dog and been that leader. So, and he's been successful. You know what I mean? He hasn't won the championship, but he's gotten there. And I know that's not an achievement to some, but I mean, it really is. You know what I mean? Just everywhere he's been the alpha dog, and that's never going to cease to, like, that's just not going to, it's not going to change. You know what I mean? And could he be right in the sense that, you know what I mean? I have put my body on the line. I have done all this stuff. I have been the leader wherever I went. Like, why aren't you giving me what I want? You know what I mean?
Or maybe even he needs. You know, he might feel like Miami started out building correctly around him, but they've become very complacent.
Yeah.
And with Tyler Hero, Jimmy might feel like they might not even value me anymore. It might be more Tyler Hero's team, which is where the disconnect.
Yeah, you would feel disrespected. You know what I mean? It's like you would feel disrespected as Jimmy Butler. I could see where he's coming from.
And I don't know. Like you said, 2 finals trips, 3 Eastern Conference appearances.
One of them from the play-in game. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, he literally made it to the finals from the playoff.
That was the when they faced the
Nuggets
2023. I don't know. I just think it had to come from after the Bulls, because even let's say this, because I could break down his kind of career in a timeline or how good he was playing. He was only good with, I would say, excuse me, I don't want to say that, but he was good with the Bulls because he was still underdeveloped. He wasn't a full superstar yet, but around his last 2-3 years with the Bulls, he still had a decent team to play around, especially with Pau Gasol, because Pau Gasol was so decent at the time. And then a really kind of seasoned Derrick Rose, who wasn't doing his sporadic dunks and stuff, but he was still passing the ball, getting around as a legitimate point guard. He was still good until the fact that, when we traded away Joakim and Derrick, and it was basically Jimmy Butler's Bulls team. And especially he still ended up playing decent when we had Rondo and Wade. So to be that player, to step up, it's great and all, but to be arrogant and to say, I need this and I need that, or I'm gonna not get on the plane, or I'm not gonna be playing for you guys, or I need a trade because I'm not happy here. It's a bad look on both sides, because the Heat look like a really bad place to play in, and some people might not be opposed to. I want to play for the Heat. I want to play for this. I want to play for that. And then it hurts Jimmy Butler to the point where teams may look at him as a liability, make him seem like he's not worth the trade or worth going through all the trouble to have on their team. Although he's a great player, he just brings a lot of problems with him. That might hurt him. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but that might hurt him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Jimmy brings his bag with him to every team he goes to, and like I said, he's good until, like, if you're on a Miami Heat uniform and Jimmy Butler is on board, you love him. You love him. Every other team hates him. But when he's not happy and he's disgruntled or he feels a certain type of way, you're not getting the MVP level, Jimmy. You getting the
like 5 shot
Timu,
attempts.
you getting the Timu version of Jimmy, So it just depends, man. And at the end of the day, if you're in the NBA, you're a grown man.
Yeah.
Okay. You're supposed to conduct yourself a certain level of responsibility, whether you're happy or not. And he's not living up to that level. So suspend him. You're doggone right. I wouldn't trade him, because this guy been traded so many times and he always forces his way out of something. Pat Riley, man, he's not the type of player or head coach or owner, GM. You could tell him, hey, I'm doing this.
Yeah. Pat
Riley not going. He is not going. He's not going to let you just tell him what you're going to do. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's detrimental to the Miami Heat keeping him on the team when you can trade him and get something back and move on. But at the same time, man, you don't want to just cave in and give this guy what he wants just because his name is Jimmy Butler.
And also because I love Jimmy Butler, because, Chicago Bull fan. I'll forever love Jimmy Butler for, being the superstar he was with us. Just it hurts a draft stock, not draft stock. It hurts a trade stock when you're just doing this, especially in high demand time, like especially right we're about to hit February, and we're about to hit February, so a trade deadline is about to happen. But when I saw draft stock, I'm talking about how the trade is gonna hurt him, and when it comes to
This is your home for sports. Longtime fan, sports is like life. SportsTownChicago.com.
What's up, Chicago? If you're ever, and I mean ever, out looking for good urban food 24/7, come down to White Palace Grill, located 1159 South Canal Street in Chicago. White Palace Grill is open 365 days a year since 1939. I personally love the steak and egg dinner, but whether you like burgers for breakfast, steak for lunch, or French toast for dinner, White Palace is the place for you. The diner is a 24-hour oasis. Come now, come later. Hey, come now and later. We never close at White Palace Grill, located 1159 South Canal Street in Chicago. Visit us at whitepalace.com or order with Uber Eats or Grubhub anytime, any day.
When you look at me, I could see a wheel. Was telling me. Maybe a point guard for national.
A child can fit an athlete for 1-6. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Go to Lux Barbershop for the best barbers and stylists in Plainfield, Illinois. I go there when I have an important event, date, or I just want to look good. The straight razor shave will have you looking fresh and smooth. Lux Barbershop is open 7 days a week. Go to Lux Barbershop for the finest barbers, stylists, braiders, and massage therapists in the southern suburbs. Check out all their daily deals on Facebook, Instagram, and luxbarbershop.com.
Hi, this is Joe Perry and Steven Tyler of Aerosmith for Red. You know, it's okay to rock and roll and party down. Just don't get in that 2,000-pound bullet when you're done and cocked. And please don't drink and drive. I'm the one that jaded you.
A reminder that friends don't let friends drive drunk. A public service message brought to you by the Ad Council, U.S. Department of Transportation, National Association of Broadcasters, and RAD.
The Chicago Dogs are back on SportsTownChicago.com. Tune in to the season opener against the Sioux City Explorers, Friday, May 28th at Impact Field in Rosemont. First pitch at 7:05 p.m. Hear all the action right here on SportsTownChicago.com.
The NBA season is underway.
It really is a special night.
It's the best. You gotta love this. You absolutely have to love this. Tell you what, this league produces these kind of highlights every single night.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'm John. I mean, it's Charlie. Is John and right now trade deadlines. I see some trade. I want to see some drama happen, but when I say drama happen, I'm not talking about everything. A lot of trade proposals, not proposals, but a lot of fan trades that I've been seeing online. But I still want to bring it in with our hometown team, the Chicago Bulls. There's been a couple teams that I read that called about our two big, I'd say, veterans, and Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine. So a couple teams are interested. We don't know which teams those were, but if any fan trades for the Bulls that you want to see,
I thought I saw the Bucks were trying to get Zach LaVine. Like I thought I saw that was a rumor. I mean, they were looking to add a third star. Like it was either Beal, him, or someone else. So I mean, the Bucks could add someone. They're obviously looking to add someone to fit in with Dame and Giannis. So I think Zach would fit in decently over there. I mean, there is only one ball, and it would be kind of scary. Just knowing that those guys kind of need the ball to really get into their bag, and Giannis needs it inside. And there is only one, but it definitely opens the spacing. Your shooting gets way better if you're Milwaukee. And you can have Zach kind of chill off ball, you know what I mean? And just clamp up. And it'll be a lot, obviously, also. I mean, when you're going from being the guy night in, night out that's expected to score. So if you go over to Milwaukee, Giannis could have a night, Dame could have a night, Zach could have a night. They could all, you know what I mean? It would be a lot more evenly spaced, and Zach won't be looked at to score 30 nightly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I like the Milwaukee fit for Zach, but what we get in return, probably Chris Middleton if we get one. I wouldn't really be a fan of Chris Middleton coming to the Bulls just because he's a little older.
Yeah, me neither.
So he's a little veteran going in. But if you brought up Bradley Beal in a 3-team trade, I wouldn't mind Bradley Beal in the Bulls. I low-key think he'd fit. My question would be, because we're losing, I wouldn't see, because as a fan, I don't really see Bradley Beal be the down and back, fast-paced player, because that's kind of what we are right now. The Bulls are a really fast-paced team right now. I would want to see we take a shooter for a shooter, as Zach LaVine had raised his 3-point percentage up this season. I would really, really want to see. I'm still not opposed to him being traded for Jimmy Butler. I still think that trade could go down just cause a superstar for a superstar.
I saw when I left here the last day of our show together.
Yeah,
I saw a trade proposal with Jimmy Butler, and they had the Bulls linked to him. And as soon as I saw that name, I thought Jermaine is going to lose his mind if Jimmy Butler comes to Chicago. But it was a 4-team trade, and the teams included were Phoenix, Milwaukee, the Bulls, and I can't remember the last team.
It'd be the Heat. Yeah,
the Heat.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the Heat. Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
So it was Jimmy, Chris Middleton, Zach LaVine. Those 4 superstars all being traded amongst themselves. Now, Chicago was supposed to get back in the trade Bradley Beal plus a couple of first-round draft picks. I'm not opposed to taking Bradley Beal back if you let him know, hey, you're not going to be playing. You're going to be sitting at the end of the bench. We still developing these younger players. But I want you to know you can come here, but you're not finna play. We looking to trade you as soon as you get in the building. Okay. And it's not because I don't want Bradley Beal points. I want his points.
Yeah.
But I want them to come from somebody that we're developing, not somebody we're just using for 2 years. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stopgap.
Right. I'd rather get the experience and those shots up from players that we're building with instead of from players that we're going to be moving on from in a year. So I like the trade because you get the 2 first-round picks back. You move on from Zach. So I would like to trade, but at the same time, I understand why you don't, because if you trade Zach and you bring in 2 rookies or even 1 rookie, it's like you're starting to rebuild and you got all these guys that are ready to go now. Like Kobe White's ready to go. I think Kobe White could be the new leader of this team if Zach LaVine is not on this team. Kobe White can step up and be that
He would
guy.
have to be.
Okay, I think that Ayo Dosunmu would be a great point guard, a great Batman to him because he plays both ends of the courts. He wants to be in Chicago. He's from Chicago.
Right.
He has that pride for the city. Those 2, that backcourt could be set. Now, you got Vooch. I'd love to see them trade Vooch because Jalen Smith is a dog. And he's just sitting on the bench.
I was gonna say, like, I understand trading Zach LaVine. I don't know about trading Vooch because I'll say this: I'm an advocate for the big guys. I'm an advocate for the centers. Although Vooch can shoot sometimes, yeah, I understand trading him, but just we kind of need more than one big person down there. More than one.
I don't know if you've seen at the Windy City Bulls game, but Bulls got a big man down in the G League.
I know.
They got Adama Sanogo, and he's just down there just bullying people in the G League. He's just down there bullying people. So instead of keeping him down in the G League,
call him up.
Let Vooch go, trade Vooch, get anything you can to move for Vooch. If it's a first round pick, just one, bet. If it's 2 or 3, even better.
Yeah.
Stock them. Because when you have first round picks, multiple first round picks, you can trade those multiple first round picks for a proven NBA player that's ready to go now, which is what the Bulls need. They don't need to get younger. They're already young.
Really young.
You want to develop what you have with players that enhance what you have. You see what I'm saying? So if you're building wings that run up and down the court the whole game, you want a center that can run up and down the court the whole game. And Vooch, big butt, ain't gonna be the center to run up and down the court. He's a good. I'm not, and it's not taking anything away from Vooch. Vooch is a great center, but that's not who he is.
Yeah.
Jalen Smith is more of a guy that can run up and down the court. He can keep up with you. He's a big man. The other team, they're gonna be tired. You see what I'm saying? So I would like to see Vooch go. I would like to see Zach LaVine go, but at the same time, the Bulls are only 4 or 5 games out of that 6th seed.
Yeah.
And I remember I posed this question last week: can the Bulls make the playoffs? And I said no. But only 4 or 5 games, that ain't nothing, man. That's one hot streak. So if they did say, okay, let's keep Zach, let's keep Vooch, let's run this back, let's see what we get. It's redundant because you've already done it. But at the same time, if you're only 6 games out of the 6th seed, how can you be mad at them?
Yeah, that's one vet away. I mean, a lot of us are talking about Bulls trades, trading Zach LaVine or Vooch and getting younger, but I mean, they could add someone too. I mean, you're rattling off these guys who need shot attempts, but really one of them could be moved. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guards on the team, and if we wanted to retool and compete, we could.
I don't
think it would be successful.
I don't want to see Ayo go nowhere, and I don't want to see Kobe go anywhere. Now, if you talking about moving Lonzo Ball, okay. If you're talking about moving Dalen Terry,
you know what I mean?
Right,
Like that
but
Kobe White value.
Who's going to step in? Kobe White. Keep clean, but you lose a Kobe White. It's like exactly where if you have Kobe still, it could. I'm not saying Kobe White can be the best player on a championship team. That's not what I'm saying by any means. But Kobe White could be a second or a third best option on a championship team, just like Zach.
Yeah.
So you got 2 players on the team that could be the second or third best option out of a championship team, but neither one of them can be the number 1.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the problem.
So what do you have to do? You have to trade one of them. But why would you trade Kobe, who's on a decent contract, when you have Zach LaVine on his huge contract?
He is paid handsomely.
You know, it's
the only reason I could think is 20 teams in the league probably would rather have Kobe White right now than Zach LaVine. You know what I mean? So if they're really worried about the value, obviously Kobe holds more. Zach's done more, but the contract and his age, you have to count in for all that. Kobe White has more value. And he should stay in Chicago.
That's crazy.
I mean, is that a crazy thing to say?
No, it's not crazy to say it. It's crazy to hear it. To hear that. Kobe White's value is more
than our star player.
Right. Like that's.
I think it is. I think that's just why we're stuck in such a sticky position right now. It's hard to move off your star player, and then you're future star player, possibly. You know what I mean?
Nah, I don't. Yeah, because honestly, I'm not trying to say this in a bad way, but what was the last achievement or something notable that Zach LaVine has done with the Bulls?
Tying the second most 30-point games in a career as a Bull.
Yeah. But like trophy wise, don't think I seen him win with the 3-point. No, that wasn't him. He participated.
And look, Zach LaVine is not a team-orientated guy. He is a me-orientated guy. He looks for his offense, don't play no defense. Like, when the last time y'all saw Zach LaVine dive on the ground?
Never.
Or in the stands?
Or getting sit in that chair.
Come on, man. Like, he's a great offensive player, one of the best in the league. But that doesn't mean that you're worth that value in what they're paying him.
Yeah.
They're paying him to be a two-way player, dominant player. And he's not.
No.
He's not, you know.
Well, I think that's all the time we have today. Trade deadline's coming up, so whether that happens with the Bulls or not, we'll let that be seen. But I'm Jamin, that's Charlie, and that's Jonathan with Full Court Press. Thank you for joining our show. You have a nice rest of your day.
Your home for sports.
This is the best fans in the world.
No better team. Sportstown